Alright guys, 4:30 here in London. Let's have a look at the different move of the day. So obviously today the main event was Janet Yellen and her speech at Jackson Hole in the US. So the general expectation from the market was, given the historical event, meaning that usually Janet Yellen uses Jackson Hole as the event to communicate any policy changes. So the market was expecting her to give a bit more information about the balance sheet shrink or any information related to the next rate hike in the US. But then if we have a look at the report, there is no information. So then dovish reaction of the market, US dollar weakness, T-notes up and equities pushing to the downside, gold as well pushing to the upside. Let me just make the chart a bit bigger here, as you can see here. So this is the euro. This reaction after Janet Yellen at 3 o'clock, so we're trading around the pivot level, and then US dollar weakness taking the high of yesterday afternoon here, just below the R1 level, and then we also took the high of the 23rd, broke above the R1, and we just tested a few minutes ago the 119 psychological handle. Similar reaction seen in the pound, so dollar weakness, the pound pushing to the upside as well. 3 o'clock, we're trading around the middle between the pivot line and the R1 of the day. Same thing, broke above R1, made a new high for the session, broke the R2 level, and we tested the 129 psychological handle in the pound here as well. If we have a look at the equity markets, so the S&P, so dovish monetary policy, dovish comments is negative for the equity market. It's positive for the equity market pushing to the upside. So here, this move to the upside here in the S&P. And then if you have a look at the T-notes chart, let me just bring my chart here, make it a bit bigger. T-notes pushing to the upside. So T-notes breaking above the pivot level, broke above R1. Now we're trading around the R1 level, but we also tested the high of the 23rd. And finally, gold. Gold was really interesting today because obviously Janet Yellen at Jackson Hole. So this reaction here, and you make my chart a bit bigger. So this move here, we just draw a rectangle. This is the reaction after 3 o'clock, Janet Yellen speech. But then before that, you've seen some pretty big move in the price of gold. So these candles here, that was at 2:15. We've seen a big move to the upside in gold. No fundamental reason behind that. So low liquidity in the market. Also, we in August, so all the senior traders and the teams and different institutions are still on holidays. And then few minutes after that, we recovered this move to the downside, and then big drops in the price of gold. Broke below the pivot, broke the S1 level, and also broke below the S2. But keep in mind, no fundamental reason behind these two moves. One to the upside, one to the downside. And then now gold trading higher after the dovish reaction in the market following Janet Yellen. So these were the main movers for the day. So dovish reaction of the market following Janet Yellen speech in Jackson Hole, US dollar weakness, so both currency pair, euro pound, pushing higher based on euro dollar weakness. Gold pushing to the upside. First reaction to the upside in equity, but the best reaction was more in the safe haven and the currency pairs. And T-notes as well here, bottom of my chart, pushing to the upside. Now if we have a look at what happened during the week, let's start with the euro. So pretty quiet start of the week. You had a bit of euro strength following some strong economic data from France and from Germany as well. So that was on Tuesday. And then Wednesday and yesterday, not too much movement here on the euro. And then today, obviously, we just talked about it. The pound was really quiet for the week as well. Then in the equity market, you can see here my DAX chart. We had a bit of push to the upside. So the DAX gapped higher on Tuesday morning, gap higher in the DAX. And then let me bring up my S&P chart as well. Here, we had a bit move to the upside here in the S&P on Tuesday as well. So a bit of a risk-on scenario seen on Tuesday. If you think about it, so the tension between the US and North Korea have eased for the past few days. And then last week you also had Donald Trump and some issues with his administration, the resignation of Gary Cohn. And this week we didn't have any news similar to that, so also a bit of less pressure on the equity market. So a bit of relief rally here in the equity on Tuesday. And then finally, if we have a look at oil, so last Friday, you've seen this big move here in oil. Let me just draw a circle here. So that was at the start of the afternoon session, so 2 o'clock, we've seen a big move to the upside in oil, testing the 14.9 psychological handle. And last Friday, 6 o'clock, you also had the US oil rig counts. So that was bullish news. Less production from the US, positive for the price of oil. And then Monday, you had a bit of profit taking. So oil trading a bit lower here on Monday. Then not much happening on Tuesday. Then you had a bullish reaction in the price of oil following the DOE, so weekly inventories from the US. Bit of move to the upside here in oil, tested the 48.50. Then yesterday a bit of pressure in the price of oil, but no fundamental reason about this. And then today oil net, not much movement, trading around the pivot at the moment. But then yesterday, keep in mind that we had some sources commenting that the Saudi Arabia and Russian are in talks for potential extension of the cuts for another 3 months. And then for the Gulf of Mexico, I would pay attention to the situation with the hurricane that is scheduled to hit the US coast tonight. So I would keep an eye on the situation here in Mexico over the weekend. So yeah, I'd say a pretty quiet week. Today was the main event. Janet Yellen, Jackson Hole, dovish reaction in the market, US dollar weakness. Both currency pairs, euro, pound, pushing to the upside. Gold and T-notes pushing to the upside as well. So yeah, I hope everybody had a nice week. Enjoy the long weekend. So here in London, bank holiday Monday. So I see you back on Tuesday. And then don't forget, l'avenir appartient à ceux qui se lèvent tôt. Guys, speak to you next week.